Welcome to Imaginary Lands, the works of award-winning author and storyteller Bobby Pell. Today's selection, Slops, is a humorous peace tale about an elderly couple who consider creative solutions to helping out a surprising neighbor, a village full of fairies.
Once upon a time, on the edge of County Cork, there lived an old man and an old woman. Now, they'd been together for nearly 50 years, and they lived in this one-room house. It had a simple thatched roof and wooden slatboards for the walls, had a kitchen area in the back, and out front there was a low stone wall. Now, on the other side of that wall was just a barren field filled with nothing but sticks and stones and dirt. Now, in the back, however, there was a very luscious garden, and it was from this garden every evening that the woman would gather vegetables and make her traditional evening meal. First, she'd pull out her vegetable peeler. Then she'd peel the potatoes and put the leavings in the slop bucket. Then she'd peel the carrots and put the leavings in the slop bucket, peel the onions and put the leavings in the slop bucket, and after dinner, wash up the dishes and pour the dirty water into the slop bucket. Now, the old man, he'd pick up that bucket and he'd carry it 5 steps out the front door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then he would dump it over that low wall into that barren field. Now, he had done this for many years without a single thing ever happening. But one night, something did happen. The wife was making that traditional evening meal. She pulled out her peeler, and first she peeled the potatoes and in the slop bucket, peeled the carrots and in the slop bucket, peeled the onions and in the slop bucket. After the dishes were done, poured the water in the bucket. Now, the old man, he picked up that bucket and he walked 5 steps right out the front door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he dumped the leavings over the side of that wall. But tonight, he heard a voice out of nowhere say, "Oh, I wish you wouldn't do that." He looked all about. He didn't see a soul, but he knew what he had heard. He took the bucket and went back inside and told his wife about it. "Oh, husband," she says, "oh, we're being visited by the wee folk. Could be a blessing, could be a curse. Listen carefully tomorrow night. Look all about you, man, and see what you can see." So the next evening, she got out her peeler and began making that traditional evening meal. First, she peeled the potatoes and in the slop bucket, peeled the carrots and in the slop bucket, peeled the onions and in the slop bucket. After dinner, washed the dishes, poured the dirty water in. Now, when the old man, he picked up that bucket, I do declare, wife, it seems to me this bucket gets heavier and heavier every evening. And he walked those 5 steps out the front door. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he dumped the leavings over the wall. This time, he heard the voice say, "Oh, I wish you would not pour your slops on me house every single night." And he looked about, and there stood a wee man on top of the wall, about 12 inches high. He had on a brown jacket and a white shirt, brown pants and little nut brown shoes. He had on a brown hat with a wee red feather in the top of it. And oh, he was angry. He had his arms crossed and was tapping his foot. "Why, my gracious, who are you?" The wee man didn't care a bit for the question. "It doesn't matter who I am. Look what you done to me house, old man. Every single night you pour your slops on it. Now, what kind of neighbour is that? What you going to do about it?" "Why, I don't see any house over there, little man. There's nothing but a barren field with sticks and stones and dirt." "Oh, you mortals, I've just about had enough. I tell you what, old man, are you willing to see what few humans are ever able to see?" Well, the old man was very curious. He goes, "Aye, I be willing." "Very well. Take your foot and carefully place it upon me wee foot, and you shall see a wonder." So the old man did, and as he placed his foot upon the wee man's foot, he couldn't believe his eyes. It was as if a curtain had been drawn aside, and there, where had once been just an empty field, he didn't see one house or two houses. He saw an entire village of houses, and right in the very spot where he had been dumping his slops every night for years, there was this wee man's house. It had potato peelings hanging all over the roof. It had carrot peelings hanging off the wooden shutters. There were onion peelings all about his yard. And the dishwater. Why, the dishwater had run down the chimney, through the kitchen, through the living room, and smack out the front door, and there was his wife just a-mopping it up for all she was worth. The old man couldn't believe it. "Oh, the saints be forgiven me. I cannot believe I've been doing this to you, wee man. Oh, every night for years." "I know," said the little man. "Now, what are you going to do about it?" "Oh, I'm not very good at this kind of thing," said the old man, "but the wife, she'll know what to do. Don't you worry yourself now, little fella. We'll take care of it." And so the old man went back inside, carrying the bucket with him. He told the wife all that had happened. "Oh, glory! I can't believe it. The poor woman, she must be beside herself. Oh, husband, we must come up with an idea." And so she started pacing around the room. "Oh, husband, I have an idea. What if you were to take the slop bucket and go out the front and walk all the way around to the back and put the slops there near the garden? Why, then we might even have some nice mulch for gardens later." "Oh, wife, that sounds like a fairly good idea, but my back ain't what it used to be. I can barely make it out the front door." "No, woman, you'll have to come up with a better idea." "Very well," she says, and she began pacing again. "Oh, husband, I have an idea. What if you were to take the slops and go down the hill and place it there around the huge oak tree? What do you think of that?" "Oh, wife, if I go down the hill, I'm likely to roll all the way down, as heavy as that bucket is. And then how would I ever get back up?" "No, you'll have to try again." "Very well," she said, and so she thought once again. "Oh, husband, I know. We have a wee bit of savings. What if we take that savings and hire a carpenter to come from town and build us a door in the back of the house? Then you could put 5 steps out the back door and we could still use the leavings on the garden. What do you think of that idea?" "Wife," he beamed, "why, you're just as smart as the day I married you 50 years ago. You still got it, old girl. That's what we'll do." So they took their money and they hired a carpenter, and he made a door in the back of their one-room house. And that night, to celebrate, the old woman took out her peeler and began her traditional evening meal. First, she peeled the potatoes and in the slop bucket, peeled the carrots and in the slop bucket, peeled the onions and in the slop bucket, washed up the dishes and poured the water in. Then the old man, he picked up that bucket and he went 5 steps out the back door. 1, 2, 3, and he dumped 'em in a new spot to the edge of the garden. Now, when he came back in, he closed the door, and when he did, he heard a little tinkling sound. There, on the ledge he looked down, was a piece of gold. He picked it up. "Oh, mother," he said, biting an edge on it, for it was good Irish gold. He goes, "What do you think of this?" She goes, "Oh, husband, 'tis from the wee folk. 'Tis for being a good neighbour. Aye, that's what it is, from one good neighbour to another." And every night after that, the old man would pour his slops out the back door, and when he would close the door, he'd hear a little tinkling sound, and he'd look down, and there on the doorsill would be another gold coin. Now the couple became rich beyond their wildest dreams, but more than the money was the richness that they found inside themselves, for they had truly shared from the greatness of their hearts.